Well, okay, so what we have here today is a showcase, and the showcase is of all the frames that were released in 2022 to 2023. Um, and there's not a lot, to be honest with you, because they typically release a Warframe once every 3 months. So every 3 months within 2022, and every 3 months again, and every 3 months again, and then 3 months after that, and then you rotate it out to the next year. So the Citrine was the first Warframe to be released in February 2022, after the period, the 3 month period from when Varuna was last released was passed. So every 3 months a new Warframe is released. So that's something to note if you're a first time player of Warframe, or you're going to be a first time player of Warframe. This is the latest Warframe. I made her gold because it just suited her more. Some frames based on the design of um, the outfits or the customization or however they design the character, it looks better with regards to them. Since there are typically only like 4 colors you can include on the Warframe that you could visibly see, and every other color are very small in comparisons. You can't really see them. You have to be very particular with regards to colors and how you use colors. So even though it says there's one, two, three, four, five, actually one, two, three, four. The missive aren't really color. They're too small to see, and energy is simply something you can't see. It only shows up when you're in missions. So these 4 colors are sometimes it could be you could see typically you see 3 of them, and the fourth one is always will be in the background and stuff. So it's always important to understand colors like this. So whatever color you pick for her, as long I picked gold because there are so many colors that could work with the gold if you decide to switch it up. So yeah, so I'll start with the very first Warframe that was released in 2022, and I never really went over this Warframe to begin with, Gyre. So I never really went over Gyre's whole kit and what she can do, what she cannot do. So this is the Gyre Warframe, and this is the basic setup. So for this video, I'm just going to keep quiet because in Warframe you don't really need to speak with regards to how things are. You could just describe it based on images and the moving of your mouse, and then test it in mission. So if I speak with regards to anything, it's simply going to be something that's important to speak about. So for right now, I'm just going to keep it, silent.
help these people out?
These are our best deals. You scratch our backs, we'll scratch yours. You have excellent taste. These may help the flow. Our enemies will fear you with that. Very well.
Your humanity is a... Use these to cleanse the unclean. This we give to you. By the Mother.
Our position has been compromised. Defend the cargo until reinforcements arrive.
little things. Big things grow, dreamers. I believe in you all.
Okay. So the second and the first ability, synergize together. Throwing the first reacts with the second to create shards. Anyone who steps in it gets high critical chance from a shot from a weapon. So if you want to kill an enemy fast, throw the second, and then throw the first combined together, and then aim a rifle. It boosts the critical chance of the weapon that you're going to be using. So that's how her abilities work for the first and second. Yeah. Yeah, so That's how it goes. Throw the second, then throw the first. Not the first, then the second ability, but in reverse. The second, then the first. So the ball has to be rolling on the floor, and then you throw the second one to initiate the first one. So the second one has to go first, and then the first one goes second. That's how her abilities work. In order to boost critical chance. So it has to be second, and then first. And anyone inside of the bubble gets high critical status effects.
That's the last of them. Objective is secure. Let's go home.
So for right now, that's about the best I could do for her. I'm sure when I put some umbras on her, it'll be much better. Um, Because the thing is, the great part about umbras is that they boost your potential for your armor, your health, as well as your power. The bad part about umbras is that they take a lot of capacity slots, so that's why sometimes it's not even best to get umbras. But transient fortitude and blind rage just takes too much out of duration and out of efficiency, which is both necessary for someone like Gyre, because she works on both energy consumption need to cast ability as well as duration as well as power strength. So it's not just one or two things, there are three things you have to consider with regards to her power. And you should have a decent amount of range too. So four things, to be honest with you. Her casting speed seems to be pretty fast. However, her third ability's casting speed is not so good. In long survival runs, you typically always want to have something like natural talent on to cast abilities fast. But to put something like natural talent on, you would then have to consider other things that you must have on as well when you're playing this character. This character doesn't roll. This character spins invisibly. So I'm not sure the rolling guard works with regards to her. Maybe adaptation is what she'll need. So when it comes to long survival, these two are essential. Natural talent or rolling guard or adaptation. So you have to have these two if you're going to have long survival with Gyre. As if you're soloing long survival with Gyre. And the problem that will probably arise will probably be those other mod slots will have to be filled in for both range, efficiency, power strength, and defense. So she needs a lot of duration in order for her ability to even stay in the mission for a substantial amount of time and don't disappear, because her powers disappear pretty fast, so she's not that great of a frame, to be honest with you. She requires a lot of fixing on a lot of, she has a lot of mishaps. She doesn't have as much mishaps as Rurelli, but she has a lot of mishaps. A lot of things that could make her die quick. So with this and this duration, that will only get me up to about 19 seconds. I want a full 20 seconds. 19 is too short for an AoE attack. So I want to get the maximum amount of duration I can over it. And the only way to get the maximum amount is, or at least close to the maximum amount, is 25. Anything, if I take on more slots with regards to duration, then I take away from power strength. That's necessary to increase this in order for the shock effect to take effect on enemies, which these two slots are going to be needed for power strength. And then of course the last one will have to do with flow or some efficiency mod here. So the only thing I could think of that could increase this by itself by a vast amount without any other additional mods to support it is blind rage. However, blind rage take a lot from efficiency, so you now have to have an efficiency mod on, and then you could put flow here, but her efficiency will be at 75, which means her casting of abilities will increase. Yeah, so third ability and fourth ability will be almost about 100 energy orbs. And she has a total of 240. So if I put Prime Flow here, so I don't like messing with Blind Rage, man. It really screws things up. Screws a lot of stuff up. She's a caster Warframe. She does a lot of casting. Overextend just takes from power, which is bad. And in order to replace that, you would have to put in 2 range mods to get back that 100. Which means your last slot will have to be something with regards to strength. Which will have to be Transient Fortitude. Will get you to about 387.5 electricity damage with 22 seconds duration, which is not bad. The range is bad though. 109, not so good. And then you have to put flow here. So the only thing that makes sense with regards to this character is the only thing that makes sense is you have to consider the time period for when energy is being distributed to your character. But this character does this character takes a lot from efficiency. 75 for third, 100 for the fourth. Not enough efficiency to cover this. That's a lot of energy drain. So as much as I want more range. And another problem that pops up is because I didn't put on, because I have on narrow-minded, and these two have to fill up the slots, you have no additional slot for health or to increase armor. So 300 health is not going to get you anywhere. That's why narrow-minded is kind of a pain in the ass, but at the same time, it's the only mod that will get you to where you need to get to. Removing this to just have narrow-minded would drop it down to like 17 seconds, which is not good. So that's why I have on overextended. Is to get back that range, but it just lowers your strength all the way down. However, like I said, you have to put a slot for health, which is a pretty big deal. It's not cool whatsoever at all. So I guess I would have to keep this at 100, and then I'll drop vitality in here in order to get her health all the way up. That's the only thing that makes sense with me for this character right now, because if I'm going to look at it from this point of view, how much vitality will give back to her? $740, which is not that great, but it's not that bad either. But at least it's something. So with efficiency on, streamline, with natural talent on, or if you're not going to use streamline, you put prime flow here and disregard streamline. That's what we're going to do, and that's what I'm going to do. 680. So 680, let's see how many times that's. 1, 2, 3. Then this one is, yeah. Okay, this can go twice. This could go 4 times. And then this could go once. Okay, so if I cast, I could cast all these abilities at least, every single one of them, at least 3 times with 600 energy. But after that, I will have to give myself energy in order to replenish it. And based on the time period of how fast this goes, this has a lagging effect of 15 seconds for cooldown. So you have to make sure that nothing is within that 15-second marker. When it comes to casting abilities, they have to be over that 15-second marker in order to get health returns. I mean, energy returns. Put streamline here and call it a day. But third ability, natural talents, is necessary when you're fighting like big boys and real tough guys. Depending on, well, it also depends on how you juke. Like if you juke at the appropriate time, you don't need to carry natural talent. But typically, natural talent is always something that's needed anyway. So no matter what you do. This will go down seriously because of this. I'm trying to figure out how can I get up. Let's remove these 2. And okay, it drops to 70%, which means I only need this to get it to 100. And guess I could use arcane intensify. Seconds. You know, I could deal with the 19 seconds. It's almost close to 20 anyway, so I could deal with that. So everything's in 100s, and all I need now is natural talent. The main problem is that this is an ability caster, so she's going to consecutively cast because her duration periods for all her abilities is low. So you have to have efficiency with regards to prime flow. Because her duration period don't last a long time, they're short. That's the main problem with regards to her more than anything else. Her duration on her abilities are too short. And never mind, to really just screw things up, man. Yeah, 14 seconds is no good. The difficult part in Warframe is to find out what synergy works best to what you need in order to accomplish your mission fast. 15 seconds, no good. I know I need narrow-minded just to get that 20 seconds. But I also know when you're fighting stronger enemies, I'm going to need natural talent. $79. Let's see. Let's try 94. Still no good. It's just a sloppy character, man. She has way too many weaknesses. Way too many weaknesses. Okay, there you go. I got her into the hundreds all around. Then I'll be able to put streamline and natural talent here. So there it goes. Finally did it. Still within 20 seconds. Damage per second is not good though, 275. But at least all round as an all-rounder. When it comes to survival, she's able to. This is a good build for all-rounder, or for at least go to a certain point within survival. More than, I would say, more than 2 hours. No. I would say about more than an hour. She could go for more than an hour in a mission on this build by herself. Yeah, this is the only thing that makes sense, because you need range in order to affect enemies, and you need duration in order to not spend as much energy every time you cast it. And since her casting duration on her abilities are so low, you need efficiency to keep up the energy, because the time duration for when you get energy back from Arcane Energize is a full 15 seconds. You might need more energy within that time period. And since her duration on her casting abilities run out fast, Streamline is going to be necessary in order to give you that boost of efficiency towards an energy pool. So once this is fully maxed out, when she's maxed out, I'm going to upgrade her again. I'll be able to put natural talent in here. Now let's say I don't have to cast a lot. I don't use Streamline. I could then put something like more range in this slot to increase it to further levels. But I always have to make sure and understand playing this character that if she's going to go in long survival run, she'll need rolling guard and natural talent, or adaptation and natural talent, if she's going to survive for long periods of time. There's no questions about it. She'll need it. All frames need it. Alright, so I changed up I gave it a R form, and I don't want to, the thing is with her abilities, I don't want to use anything that would disrupt that reduce toxic damage. Yeah, and another thing with regards to this character, she has very low shields. Which is also necessary for our survival. So these last two slots will be oh, well, there you go again. So there's another issue. That's why I can't keep it at 147, because I completely forgot she needs to have health. So health has to be here, natural talent has to be here, and of course transient fortitude has to be here. She can't run on 300 health. She'll die automatically to a bomber. That's anywhere from level 100 and up. So her entire kit is kind of weak with regards to her abilities as well. She has a lot of power with regards to casting, and you can kill a lot of enemies. But the time period for which these things last would require you to cast multiple times and do it a lot. So you will have to have efficiency on this character, not just prime flow, unless you're running with someone giving you NG every single time. Because when enemies are shooting you, you also require energy to heal your wounds, unless they took away that mechanic. So natural talent will go here. So streamline will go here. But here's the thing, like if I put streamline here, I can't put in natural talent. So I'm screwed regardless, and I will have to depend solely on prime flow and natural talent. So it really is up to you to decide how you're going to do this. Because if you remove this and keep this at 199, this will be at 1960, which is actually, now I think about it, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. So with that said, yeah, because now I could put in streamline, I could put in transient fortitude, I could put in natural talent. So streamline, natural talent could go here. Oh, but yeah, now I remember. That's the reason why. Yeah, that's the reason why. Damn it. So that's the reason why I had it prime continuity here, because this will lower it down to 17%, which is not good. So I will have to work with that. I would have to work with that. If we're talking about long survival, she has to have an adaptation and natural talent on. That's a given. There's no doubt about it. That's a given. Another issue with regards to that is, geez, man, she has so much bad things. If she's around enemies, enemies will do knockdown effects. If she gets knocked down and they shoot her while she's knocked down, then she's screwed. So she needs prime sure-footed as well. Alright, so I'll have to lower the range even more. Probably keep it at 100. There. Okay, so it'll have to be kept at 100. And prime sure-footed will go here. Streamline will go here. Natural talent will go here. And I can't use efficiency. I guess it really depends on how fast it will take me to cast this ability. I mean, her kit is bad all around. Her powers are awesome, but her kit is bad all around it. Her durations are all in the 17 seconds below 30-second ratios. Everything is so low, 13 seconds. 16 seconds. The most one that lasts the longest is the one that casts requires more energy than anything, 100. That's 30 seconds. And if you decide to put streamline on, you have to remove natural talent, and yeah, I will have to go with it. I will have to go with it. It's the only thing that makes sense. I would have to go with the seconds. I would have to put streamline on in there in order to. Yeah, I have to go with it. It's the only thing that makes sense. The only thing that makes sense right now. Her powers lasting is so terrible though. It just hurts me all around. And her shields are low. That's why I have Breeze Respite in there. Because even if I throw shields in here with more health, then it takes away from having adaptation and natural talent on for survivability. And she requires power strength, and she requires rain, and she requires duration. She requires so many goddamn things. And she has low shields as well. I'll be like, who in the hell thought up her kit? Not just for her setup here, but the requirements to keep her alive in long survival. Because everything is in the seconds category. They're not long, so she's not that great of a frame, even though her powers are great. Like critical chance, critical multipliers. It's like on the tips section it says tips. Gyre's ability to inflict electricity status effect, which increase your likelihood to conduct critical chance, and with regards to high critical chance weapons as well. So that's the beautiful part about her abilities, is once you cast it and someone walks within that range, or it hits someone, once her powers hit someone, You could get a shotgun off on them, or electricity blast on them off, or rifle off on them real quick. Um, but the duration of her capabilities is so poor. So yeah, that's it for Gyre. I'll test this out in mission right now, and then I'll move on to the Warframe that came after Gyre, which was Stynak. I don't know what's going on with Warframes. Their latest installment of frames seem to all have like multiple faults. Like they don't really have anything profoundly that makes them beast. They all seem to have more problems, more weaknesses than they do strengths. Like they have their abilities that makes them formidable, but the survival based on their kit setup is not great. I would say the best out of the last four that were released is Citrine. Citrine seems to be better than Varuna. Citrine seems to be better than Stynak. Citrine seems to be better than Gyre. So Citrine seems to be their best Warframe to date that they released when it comes to survivability. So I'll test this out with Gyre just once more, then I'll move on to, and this time I won't use Hydron. I'll go for Steel Path and see how she works in the Steel Path. Unranked Gyre in the Steel Path. And I'll do Survival and see how she does in a Survival. For just 5 minutes in a Survival of level 100 infested.
Extraction is available, if you need it.
It is done, Tenno.
Okay, so that was her kit um, in a group. Now I'm going to do her kit, practice her, or do a steel path soloing her with just her low shields and average health and the use of her powers and duration on her powers. So this one I'll do the sabotage. I should have actually done the defense and see how that works. And I think the defense might be difficult for her because she has such low shields. So let's see how the sabotage goes first before I go to defense. I would say after this, regardless of whether I have a good build for her or not, I'll move on to the next Warframe, which is Stynax.
Their rage is vehement, their focus impressive. Give them all warriors' death.
My intel suggests there are rich enemy supply caches in the area, but I am unable to pinpoint their exact location. Search them out if you are willing to shoulder the added risk. The enemy are using a void key and a portable torsion beam device to force open the portal, destroy the key and the device.
She too weak. She's too weak. I don't like it. Not only is she too weak, not only she's too weak, it would require, let's say I put a lot of range on her ability and forget about the duration period of her powers. If I invest in power strength and range, it's only going to last for maybe about 10 seconds, 10 or 12 seconds, which means I have to kill as many enemies within 10 or 12 seconds with power strength. And her second ability, that whole bouncy ball thing, it's completely pathetic. Because look, it goes all the way over goddamn here. It makes no sense. Like, why would it? It doesn't go where you want it to go. So yeah, I would say her kit needs to be reworked. Her second ability definitely needs rework. Her character herself needs rework. She's way too weak.
Travel in one direction. Start up the portal generators to reverse the polarity.
She requires way too many things. She requires way too many things. Like, if you build her for range, she could suck in all the enemies, especially with power strength. But that duration period does not last for a long time. It's extremely low duration period. And adaptation don't work good on her either, because I just put adaptation on her and it doesn't do much of anything, because adaptation is supposed to resist the element for which you're using, which your character is using. So the time period for adaptation is way too weak.
Enemies, prepare to be hammered in your reproductive organs!
And this motherfucker again. She's way too goddamn weak, man. She's way too weak. Like, even if you build her for range and for power strength, she doesn't have a lot of health, and she doesn't have a lot of shields either. She's like weak in everything all around. I say about the only thing she might be good at is once an enemy is trapped within the circle, they take critical for range and for power rather than for duration and
Big mistake, big mistake.
Now that we're warmed up, what's next?